Hey guys, so I am adding this into my video as you guys have already seen about the tragedy that's been happening in Manchester, where most of you guys are from over there in the UK. You know, show my support, show that I am there, and people are here listening. Also, my video may be kind of triggering after this past event, but I don't know what else to say. Well, yeah, hope you guys enjoy the video. Welcome back to 7 Sensational. Why am I holding up to for you guys? 7 Sensational Girls. Yeah. So this week's theme is about me. And it's about to get serious. Well, my name's Angelica. I am 17 years old. My birthday is February 20th, 2000. I was held back a year in elementary school, and I guess you guys can call it grade school. Wherever you're from, I was held back a year in elementary school. I broke my leg twice, once when I was a baby and once when I was 9 years old. I still have the scar from the surgery. I've had 3 surgeries my entire life. I have curly hair that doesn't do what I want. I got brown eyes, a big nose, like really big, and I suffer from mental illnesses. I have anxiety, social anxiety, chronic anxiety, an adjustment disorder, I guess. And I'll tell you how I got that. So when I was like 4 years old, I was 4. It's when you start preschool. Like, I was locked inside the preschool by myself, and the lights were off in the classroom, and I was alone. And since then, I was always scared to go inside stores at night, because I would think that they were going to lock me in there, and I wasn't going to get out. But after a while, it, stopped. Till I turned 15. Was the year when I was planning my quinceañera, my 15th birthday, and we were inside a store. It was crammed with dresses everywhere, and I started freaking out, and I had a breakdown in the middle of the store. Started crying, and I really didn't know what was going on, why I was feeling the way that I was feeling. Then after a while, I stopped going to school every day because I would have anxiety to go to school because I would have to get on the bus. And then I wouldn't know where to sit, and I would start freaking out. And I didn't even eat lunch by myself. I was too scared to be by myself. I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to be in a classroom with people I didn't know, and that's how it was. That year, I wasn't in class with any of my friends. And so I went to therapy, and I stopped going to therapy after a while because it wasn't helping. Why would I go to a place where it wasn't even working? And then moving forward, kind of skipped some things that I probably should have said, but when I was growing up, my parents fought a lot, which kind of caused my anxiety from when I was little. My dad is an alcoholic, we don't live with him anymore. My parents are divorced. That was also happened when I was in middle school. When I was 15, they were finally getting a divorce, and they were separated for 5 years, and they finally were saying that they were going to do it. And they did it, and they were just waiting for it to be finalized. And that didn't happen till last year. So we're going past 15 years old. Now I'm 16. And this is when everything broke. The last bit of my wall that I built broke. I was done with everything. I didn't care about school. I didn't care about making friends, or doing my work, or paying attention in class, or leaving my room. On March 24th. Sorry if I got the day wrong. People are gonna think that it wasn't I didn't really I don't know how to say it, because I don't remember the day exactly what day it was, but I just remember what happened that day. I've never really talked about it with anyone, really, besides my therapist and stuff, and probably two friends that I thought were my friends. So it was 7 or 6:30. The sun wasn't even in. We had just got home from the grocery store. Me and my mom and my brothers were outside, helping me put the groceries inside the house. My mom stayed outside, and my uncle, I'm not gonna say his name, I have 2 uncles, but my uncle went outside to, I guess, meet one of his friends or something. I was in the restroom, doing my business. I was in the restroom, and then I heard gunshots and screaming. I ran out. I ran to the front, and he was on the floor, covered in blood, facing his front part of his body was on the floor. I ran into the restroom again. I grabbed a bunch of towels. Everybody was freaking out. We flipped my uncle over while his brother and my other uncle helped put pressure on his gunshot wounds to stop. My mom was on the phone with the police, and I was right next to him. You could tell he wanted to say something. You could tell there was something he wanted to say, but he couldn't say it at all. After a while, it was he wasn't there anymore. The ambulance came, pushed us away. Police pulled me to the side and started asking me questions. I didn't want to answer questions. I couldn't answer questions. I was just watching as they cut my uncle's clothes off to find out where he was shot. There was blood on the bottom of my shoes, on my hands. All over the front steps. In the house, there was the bullets still in the house, and my mom went with my grandma to the hospital. They weren't allowed inside the ambulance with him because I'm guessing he had already passed away. And I waited. I was still too shocked. I couldn't cry until my mom called and she told us that he didn't make it. That's when I cried. I was angry. I never knew I would get angry over something like that. I was punching the walls, crying, yelling, feeling like I could have done more. And after that day, I stopped going to school. And I didn't talk to anybody. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't sit there and watch TV, watch YouTube videos, because the memories would just come back. So I went back to therapy with the same therapist that I had with anxiety. But we never talked about what happened. We barely talked about it. Like, I just wanted to talk about it. She didn't listen. So I switched and I got this way better therapist. He's really cool. And I had to switch schools. And I went to a new school. This was before I got the new therapist. And I had to talk to a counselor there. So there was like 82 students in the school. And I was so much anxiety being a new student who didn't have a lot of anxiety. I didn't really concentrate in school. I was there for like the last few weeks. And then it was next year. I made a couple friends. Then I had to stop going to school again. I couldn't do it. Didn't know why I couldn't push myself to get up like I used to. Tell myself that I wasn't gonna be there long. I would be home as soon as possible. I wouldn't have to wait. I would be home in it felt like less than an hour. I wasn't at school for more than an hour, but it felt like I wasn't there for long. So my mom saw something was wrong. So that's when I got my new therapist, because we went in for an emergency type of appointment where you just talk to this random psychologist or something. So I went, and then we were talking, and then he said that from what he can tell, from what I've been telling him about my whole life and everything, is that I have social anxiety, chronic anxiety, severe depression, and PTSD, post-traumatic syndrome disorder. People who come from fighting wars usually get that because they watch people die and they fought this nasty battle. And it just scared me thinking that I have that. So, but I feel like those things that happened are more of who I am today. And I feel like those are the important things. I know I may be weak right now, but one day I will not be weak. I'll be stronger than ever. These things that happen, I feel like might be a way for me to become a better person.